Hey guys, this is Geography Lover here, and today I am doing another video. Finally, I know it's been a while since I posted, but I haven't really had much ideas to post in the recent times, so I figured out something that I could do, and I think it'll be really interesting once I finish doing it, because this is something I've actually never seen on YouTube before, at least for me. I don't know if you got your viewers have saw other stuff, but I know that I have not seen this ever on YouTube before. But anyway, this is a very complex subject, and what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to dive into local government areas. Today I'm going to do it England, and then in other videos I'm going to do Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Ireland, and all the other countries as I learn them going along in the future. And that'll be a lot because there's a lot of countries. There's 193 United Nations members. And then there's with everything else combined with the overseas territories, the constituent countries, the free association states, those numbers just go up. So this will be a very long series, and it will take place. It will be able to go on for a long time. So to get started, we're gonna do England today. So we got to talk about the subdivisions of England. So starting off, England is divided into counties. It's probably the top tier subdivision of England. And then it is divided into districts and parishes, but today we're mainly going to focus on the counties and districts of England because those correspond to one another pretty closely, and I'll explain why in a bit. So before we go over the modern counties, which are particularly hard to understand, we need to do the history of the counties first. So I have maps here. Yeah. So, hold on, let me see. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, I had to switch the video up, but here are the historic counties of the United Kingdom. There are 39. Well, actually, the County of London, which is this blue one right here. I'm using these maps because I'm experimenting with this, but this blue County of London right here is actually created in 1889 by a government reform, and I'll talk about that in a bit. So these are the historic counties of England, as I said. This is Yorkshire, and it's divided into its 3 ridings, which are considered counties. But if you want to consider the historic counties, Yorkshire is its own county by itself. So these are the 39 historic counties, and they each had administrative centers. In 1889, what happened was there was a local government reform in which the counties became administrative counties with their own county councils. So all of these counties on this map had a county council. These are actually technically the ceremonial counties, but the administrative counties fell closely to the ceremonial counties, and I'll get to the difference between those two later. So these are the counties of the historic origin. Although these were technically considered the counties, there are counties like Lincolnshire, Suffolk, and Sussex that were divided into different administrative counties since they were really big. And that's not the only thing. There were also these things called county boroughs, which encompass major cities within these counties. Like Bristol, for example, formed a county borough between Gloucestershire and Somerset, and it's approximately right here. So, yeah. So these county boroughs acted as administrative counties on their own, with their own county council, with their own county borough council, and they were independent from the administrative county that they're normally in for ceremonial purposes, if that makes sense. These are the main 39 historic counties and geographic areas. And these remained like this until 1974, when another local government reform happened. In this case, all of the county boroughs and administrative counties were abolished and were replaced with a 2-tier system of metropolitan and non-metropolitan counties. So far, there are 6 metropolitan counties in England: West Yorkshire, South Yorkshire, Greater Manchester, Merseyside, West Midlands, and Tyne and Wear. And the Greater London, it's not a metropolitan county, but it's widely considered in that range. It's not a non-metropolitan county either. Greater London is actually more or less a region of one of the 9 official regions of England, but it still acts as a county. Anyway, in this reform, as I said before, all county boroughs and administrative counties were abolished, and they were absorbed into these non-metropolitan counties. As you can see, there were various differences. For example, Herefordshire and Worcestershire merged to form Hereford and Worcester. The county Rutland merged with Leicestershire to form Leicestershire, and the same thing with Huntingdonshire and Cambridgeshire to form, well, Cambridgeshire. And then Sussex broke up into West and East Sussex, and various borders were merged. The new counties of Avon, Humberside, and Cleveland were formed as well from various parts of their other counties. Like Avon was formed from Gloucestershire and Somerset as like an area surrounding Bristol. Humberside formed mostly from the East Riding of Yorkshire plus parts of Lincoln, and Cleveland formed from parts of Durham and North Yorkshire. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing any of these names whatsoever. If you are British in the comments, please let me know how to actually pronounce these, and I will take that into account. So anyway, so these non-metropolitan counties existed from 1974, and they still do exist today, but with some changes, and that's what I'm going to get to next. But for example, all of the county boroughs were abolished, and then they were mostly replaced with the non-metropolitan district of the same exact area. For example, the county borough of Leicester, it's not really shown, but it's somewhere around here. And it used to exist as an administrative function, and it still did after 1974, but it was downraged to a district. And same thing with Rutland, but I said that before, but I'm saying like, yeah, exactly. So all of these county boroughs became districts of a non-metropolitan county as they tried to reorganize government in England, because it was very like broad, and it was very messy before that. Because there were so many county boroughs and exclaves that it just got too hard for them, I think. So they decided to merge all of them and make them non-metropolitan districts of these non-metropolitan and metropolitan counties. In 1986, the metropolitan councils were abolished with Greater London, and their boroughs or districts technically became not new metropolitan, like they became the sole authority of the area. However, the metropolitan counties do exist legally still, and they are used for ceremonial purposes, and in various, and actually in all of them, combined authorities have been formed, and two-tier structures have been reinstated in these metropolitan counties. However, yeah, so and then it gets more confusing when we look at these next three maps. So this was from 1974 to the 1990s. Then in the 1990s, something crazy happened. So you know how I said last time that the county boroughs were abolished? Well, most of those cities that merged with the non-metropolitan counties weren't happy with that, and they wanted to be themselves independent from from their county council. So instead, these are the ceremonial counties that encompass today. These are the metropolitan and non-metropolitan counties that are today. And then these are the non-metropolitan districts. And we'll get to all of these maps separately, and I'll analyze them separately. But before we do that, I want to explain to you the difference between the ceremonial counties and the non-metropolitan and metropolitan counties. So the ceremonial counties basically are the areas of lieutenancies throughout the United Kingdom. They have them in England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. These are mainly the geographical areas of England. Like, these are administrative subjects, but these are more or less like the geographical counties, the counties where the Lord Lieutenant represents them. And the British monarch will always appoint a Lord Lieutenant to these counties. Unfortunately, some of these counties now are only used for ceremonial purposes, like Cheshire and Bedfordshire, because their administrative functions have been disbanded and broken down into several unitary authorities, which I'll get to in a bit. But they're still counties in their own right. Now, yeah, as I said, so these are the ceremonial counties, and the non-metropolitan counties and metropolitan counties are more or less administrative functions, and they're solely relying on local government. In the 1974 and 1996 period, as I mentioned before, the ceremonial counties were identical to the non-metropolitan and metropolitan counties, since there were no county boroughs or anything that made it obscure. But when there were county boroughs, as I mentioned before, these were the 39 ceremonial counties, or 40 in this case with the addition of London, that encompassed everything. So yeah, so let's get to these non-metropolitan counties. So In 1990, as I said, in the 1990s, there were a series of reform in which the certain districts, non-metropolitan districts, wanted to be independent from the county councils. So first off, the first thing that happened in 1995 was the Isle of Wight, which was a non-metropolitan county, became a unitary authority. A unitary authority is basically, it has the status of both a non-metropolitan county and a non-metropolitan district, since they have the powers combined. Anyway, so Isle of Wight was the first change that occurred in 1995. Isle of Wight before that had two districts, Medina and South Wight, which merged together to form the Isle of Wight Unitary Council. It's a county council, and it's still considered a county council, but I mean, there are there are a lot of unitary authorities. In 1996, further changes further changes happened. For example, the city of York, was a non-metropolitan district from 1974 to 1996. It wanted to be independent from North Yorkshire, and what happened was the city greatly it got bigger, and it encompassed most of the York metropolitan area and became its own unitary authority. Between 1997 and 1998, the rest of these unitary authorities came into existence. And also in 1996, the counties of Cleveland, Humberside, Hereford, and Worcester, and Avon broke up into unitary authorities. In Avon, there's South Gloucestershire, Bristol, which also gained ceremonial status, Bath and Northeast Somerset, and North Somerset. In Hereford and Worcester, the county broke up into two new administrative units, Herefordshire, which is a unitary authority, and Worcestershire, which is actually still a non-metropolitan county today with non-metropolitan districts. In Humberside, it broke up into four unitary authorities, the East Riding of Yorkshire, which is a ceremonial county, the city of Kingston upon Hull, North Lincolnshire, and North East Lincolnshire, which those two are actually part of Lincolnshire. So some of the new unitary authorities were returned to their traditional counties for ceremonial purposes, like Somerset, Gloucestershire, and Lincolnshire. In 1997 was when most of these unitary authorities were created. Darlington became a unitary authority from Durham. Lancashire, Blackburn, and Darwen, and Blackpool became administrative functions. Shropshire, Telford, and Wrekin, formerly known as the Wrekin, became a unitary authority. In Staffordshire, Stoke-on-Trent became a unitary authority. In Derbyshire, Derby became a unitary authority. In Nottinghamshire, Nottingham became a unitary authority, and so on. I don't want to name all of them because there's a lot. And so these unitary authorities that formed in the 1990s were mostly based on cities that, like I said, were formerly non-metropolitan districts that did not want to still be part of the county council. Now, also, Rutland, I forgot to mention, became a unitary authority in 1998, and became also a ceremonial county as well. It was reinstated its lieutenancy and shrievalty, and is now equivalent to the rest of the ceremonial counties that exist today. In 2009 was basically the next major period of reform, in which now county councils were thinking about unifying into unitary authorities. 5 councils did that in 2009. Cornwall County Council and its 6 districts were merged to form Cornwall Council. Wiltshire and its 5 districts, I think, or maybe 4, it's 4 or 5, merged to form Wiltshire Council. Shropshire County Council and its 5 districts merged to form Shropshire Council. Northumberland and its 6 districts merged to form Northumberland Council. It's Northumberland County Council. It's called Northumberland County Council, but it still is not really a county council because it does not have districts. But it's still legally, they've had a vote on that, and they decided to keep Northumberland as Northumberland County Council. And also, where's the 5th one that I forgot to mention? There's another one. I know there is. Cornwall, Wiltshire, Shropshire, Northumberland, and or maybe there was 4. Hold on, let me see just to make sure. I know there was Durham. I'm sorry, Durham was another one. County Durham merged to form a unitary authority in 2009 from its, I think it had like 10 districts, and excluding Darlington. Darlington remains a unitary authority, but the rest of the county became a unitary council. Same for Telford and Wrekin in Shropshire, which still remain a unitary authority, and Swindon in Wiltshire. I also forgot to mention there's one special non-metropolitan county in England, and it's called Berkshire. It's called Berkshire, well, it is Berkshire, I mean, not called Berkshire. It's Berkshire because what happened was in 1998, they recommended that Berkshire County Council was to be abolished and split into 6 unitary authorities, one covering each district. That did happen, however, since Berkshire was a royal county and considered one of the home counties of London, Berkshire, the non-metropolitan county of Berkshire, was not abolished. So technically, Berkshire still remains today as an administrative function, but it is not really, it does not have a county council, and it is instead governed by the 6 unitary authorities. And also, speaking of which, the unitary authorities, like I said before, count as both counties and districts. Berkshire is the only exception. It's 6 unitary authorities, which are in here: West Berkshire, Reading, Wokingham, Wacknall Forest, Windsor and Maidenhead, and Slough. They are considered non-metropolitan districts only, since the non-metropolitan county of Berkshire still exists. But the rest of them are unitary authorities. And going back to 2009, I should have mentioned this when I was in the 1990s period. The counties of Cheshire and Bedfordshire decided that their non-metropolitan county status should be abolished and be replaced with 2 unitary authorities each. Cheshire originally proposed to be 1, but they denied it. Instead, they proposed to be the second option went through. Cheshire West and Cheshire East became their own non-metropolitan counties and unitary authorities, respectively. And in Bedfordshire, the borough of Bedford and Central Bedfordshire, which is a merger of the districts of Mid and South Bedfordshire, became their own unitary authorities. So the ceremonial counties still exist in those 2, but their non-metropolitan status was abolished in 2009. So let's move on to the districts, because that's really, well, actually, there's 2 more small things. One, in 2019, this map doesn't show the update, but in 2019, this map does. In 2019, Dorset unified. Before it was a non-metropolitan county, and it contained 2 unitary authorities, Bournemouth and Poole. And instead, in 2019, the unitary authorities of Bournemouth and Poole united with the non-metropolitan district of Christchurch, which was approximately here, and became its own unitary authority of Bournemouth, Christchurch, and Poole. The rest of Dorset and its 5 remaining districts merged to form, or 6, I don't know, it's 5 or 6, merged to form Dorset Council, which is a unitary authority. Just recently, last month, Buckinghamshire, this map didn't update yet, but it's still, I'll show you this. This is Milton Keynes, the unitary authority, which is unchanged, but this area, this is Buckinghamshire County. This area was formerly administered by Buckinghamshire County Council, and it became Buckinghamshire Council in April of 2020, which was last month. So the 4 districts of Aylesbury Vale, Wycombe, Chiptern, and South Bucks were abolished and were replaced with a unitary Buckinghamshire Council. It's funny because in the 1990s, they recommended that Buckinghamshire, Bedfordshire, and Dorset County Councils to be abolished, but those reforms never went through in 1995. However, here we are present day, all 3 of their county councils are abolished and replaced with unitary authorities, which is a bit of a coincidence. I guess they kind of acted on their plans. So yeah, now moving on to the non-metropolitan districts. So as I said before, that the unitary authorities are non-metropolitan districts as well, because they serve as the same function. So you'll find Cornwall, Northumberland, Durham, Shropshire, Wiltshire, Dorset, and Buckinghamshire. Well, this map doesn't show it, but Buckinghamshire is now they're all one district. And the rest of these 2-tier counties that existed from 1974 that still exist today, their districts still remain today. So basically what happened with the districts was when the 2-tier system was created in 1974 with the counties, there were also non-metropolitan districts established as well, and metropolitan districts. So these are all of them. I'm not going to name them because there's about 200 of them in here. And as you can see, the unitary authorities, they're all here. And also there's Herefordshire is its own district. Rutland is its own district. East Riding of Yorkshire is its own district since it's a unitary authority. And so on and so forth. So yeah, further reforms are made. There are plans to cut Northamptonshire's districts into 2 unitary authorities next year, but with the coronavirus pandemic, I don't know if that's going to be delayed or, yeah, well, it definitely probably will be delayed, and it might happen in a later time, maybe 2020, late 2021 or 2022, depending on if they can structure everything. But right now, these are the 7 non-metropolitan, or 6 non-metropolitan boroughs of Northamptonshire. Actually, no, 7, yeah, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, okay, my bad, 7 boroughs of Northamptonshire. So we just have to wait and see how that will go in the future. So I hope this video got you a little sense of clarity on the local government areas of England, and I hope you all enjoyed this. I am going to actually continue to do this. My next video will be Wales, the principal areas, explaining Wales's history, background of local government. And yeah, check out what I'm making wooden puzzles of England's counties and districts. So if you want to see a full timeline of what I was talking about in this video, map-wise, then eventually you'll see that come out. But thank you guys so much for watching this. I appreciate you guys staying there and hanging in there. Like I said, it's been rough with school, and I have not had ideas for videos, and then I just realized I've been so into this that why not just talk about it. So I hope this gave you a little sense of clarity on local government in the United Kingdom, and I hope I could see you, well, England, and I hope I see you guys in the next video with Wales. Thank you guys. Bye.